Converting a decimal to a mixed number and an improper fraction in simplest form, advanced. Write 4.58 as a mixed number and as an improper fraction. Write your answers in simplest form. Okay, so we'll start off with the mixed number form. All right, so remember the form of a mixed number. It has a whole number plus a proper fraction. And a proper fraction is a proper in which the numerator is less than the denominator. So the decimal that we have to work with for this problem is 4.58. And there are two ways of going about this. For the first method, I can identify what the whole number is. So in 4.58, or for any decimal, the whole number will always be the digits to the left of the decimal. So our whole number is 4. Then what is left is the decimal part, 0.58. Okay, so I took our decimal 4.58 and separated it as 4 plus 0.58. Our proper fraction will come from the 0.58 part. So we're going to focus on converting this decimal now to a fraction. The easiest way to get a fractional form is to write any number over 1. That's where we will begin. And to write a decimal as a fraction, we have to multiply by some power of 10. Looking at our decimal, it ends in the hundredths place. So the power of 10 that we are going to multiply by is 100. But we have to keep the balance. So what I do to the numerator of a fraction, I have to do to the denominator of a fraction. And the reason why we're going to be multiplying by some power of 10, even though 0.58 written over 1 looks like a fraction, it's not the proper form of a fraction. For a fraction, neither the numerator nor the denominator should have a decimal in it. Multiplying by this power of 10 will help us get rid of the decimal that appears. You should know the trick when multiplying by a power of 10. All it does is move the decimal to the right. So in our case, 0.58 becomes 58. And our denominator is 100. All fractions should be in simplest form. So looking at 58 over 100, both numbers are even, which means they are divisible by 2. So I am going to go ahead and reduce that. 58 divided by 2 is 29. And 100 divided by 2 is 50. Okay, so that's the fractional form in simplest form. So I have the whole number, which was 4. And then I have the decimal part, gives us the proper fraction, 29 over 50. Then the mixed number becomes 4. We don't write the plus sign. And 29 over 50. The second way to go about this, finding a mixed number, is to start off with your decimal and rewrite it as a fraction right from the beginning. Write it over 1. Now, similar to the previous method, note that this decimal ends in the hundredths place. So we're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 100. That's going to clear the decimal that I have. So I end up with 458 divided by 100. Again, all fractions should be in simplest form. So we're going to go ahead and reduce this. Both numbers are even. So if I divide by 2, I'm going to use a little bit of long division for that. I will end up with a simpler form. 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 5 twice. And 5 goes into 18 9 times. So if I divide both numerator and denominator by 2, I get 229 in the numerator, and I get 50 in the denominator. Okay, next I want to write this as a mixed number. Now, because none of these are even, I know I cannot divide by 2 anymore. Both numbers do not end in a 0, so it's not divisible by 10. So I'm just checking the divisibility rules, and this is as far as I can go in terms of simplifying. To get the mixed number, I need to know how many times does 50 go into 229. Now I know 50 goes to 200, okay, so we can do that. 50 times 4 will give us 200. So it goes in 4 whole times, and if I can get to 200, I'm just left with 29, and the denominator does not change. So we actually end up with the same answer as we did before, just a different way. Next, we want to get the improper fraction. And for an improper fraction, remember, the numerator is larger than the denominator. Once we have the mixed number, getting the improper fraction becomes easier. But using the second method, we actually have the improper fraction. All right, but just going through these steps, we always multiply the whole number and the denominator, and then add the numerator to that. Since we are not multiplying or dividing by anything in the denominator stays the same. Following order of operations, I have 4 times 50, that would be 200, plus 29 is 229, and we're going to divide by 50. Since we had simplified for the mixed number step, this is our answer in simplest form, and you can match that with this right here in the second method. They end up being the same. The second method gives us the improper fraction, and these are our answers.